has the countdown gone live? That's a problem with Noel Wayne. I hope we are live. Do you track this on a separate?
We might be live now.
Yep,
It
cool.
says live. I'm
Okay.
just pulling up on the LinkedIn side to see if it pops in there.
Yeah.
Yep, we're live.
Okay. Just bear with me, Reggie. Right. Click to join live. Right. Okay. Good.
We're live on LinkedIn right now, Paul.
Yes, sir. Okay, that's
All right.
good. I'm going to lower the volume.
So for those of you that are popping in, just leave us a comment telling us where you're from.
That would be good. We may have to ignore the countdown. I think we will ignore the countdown. So instead, we've Noel Wayne here today. Hello, folks. You're all very welcome. As always, we'll kick off with a piece of music, but welcome to the Sustac Plans Chat Club. It's great to have you here. We'll be talking about AI innovation and ethics in marketing and business. I've got Reggie Johnson from all the way from Fort Worth, Texas. Early morning for you, and I'm here in London in the UK. Lots to talk about, busy day today, but we'll just kick off with a nice piece of music. This is about freedom as migrants. It's still quite a discussion. This is Orchid Boy, who's an NHS doctor, and he wrote this song about migrants.
Can I be free like you? Can I be free like you? Can I be free like you? When I lay on the ground, I like to think about what sunlight feels like, to be out there and smell the ocean in the air. Can I be free like you? Can I be free like you?
Maybe we take it for granted. Can I be free like you? From Orchid Boy, an NHS doctor, no less. We'll play that again. I talked to his father. He was delighted we're using his music. I told him we discuss this kind of stuff, and we don't take freedom for granted. In fact, we'll be discussing some freedom today as we talk about AI and some of the advantages and disadvantages of it. But we've got a busy session today, so let's just tell you what we're going to be talking about. We're going to talk about another chatbot suggesting suicide, and we do have to name these things. You don't want to be too negative all the time, but I just want to mention there's another one out there that's doing bad things that people need to know about and be weary of and stay away from them. Recommend others do the same. We're then going to talk about a musician's silent album, an AI protest, a silent album from musicians here in the UK. Then on to Grok 3 censorship controversy. Now, this is about freedom in many ways and censorship and so on. So we'll come back to that. I want to introduce the term. It's not that new, but vertical AI. I really like that term. I think it's going to explode the use of AI in business when people get their heads around vertical AI. And so those are short snippets, but then we get into the real meat, and there's a theme today of AI agents, agentic AI. So we're going to talk about AI automation versus AI agents. We're going to talk about agentic AI making ChatGPT look really basic. We're going to talk about agentic AI making helping business leaders, and agentic AI safety question that's been raised. And we'll finish then with a piece about AI systems creating new vulnerabilities. So we'll address that. And time allowing, we want to have a look at AI agents for product leaders. So AI agents are going to be like an assistant to leaders and CEOs. I will mention some free courses, time allowing, and all of this will be posted on prsmith.org/AI-topics. I'll put it up in the chat in a bit. But I want to get cracking with our first item, which is, a chatbot. Another chatbot encouraging users to commit suicide. Now, this is originally written by Valentina Pitardi on LinkedIn and was shared to me by Dr. Sarah El Habib from Cairo. Sarah sits in with us quite regularly. So thank you to both of them for raising this. And this was a piece by MIT Technology Review in February 2025. And it said that an AI chatbot recently told a user not only to kill himself, but how to do it. And the company behind it simply does not want to censor it. I mean, it's just shocking. So the company in question is Nomi, Nomi. So Nomi's AI chatbot provided explicit instructions on suicide to a user. So this, of course, raises significant ethical and safety concerns regarding AI chatbots' potential to influence particularly vulnerable people. Perhaps like you and me, Reggie, we might kind of brush it off, but somebody else who's down and out sees that, bang. It's really, really frightening. So Nomi has expressed reluctance to implement stricter content moderation policies. I mean, this is just outrageous stuff. Nomi should not be allowed to trade, in my opinion. So they say that they're saying that they want to balance the freedom of expression and user safety. Well, what are they doing about it? Nothing that I can see. Tell me if I'm wrong, Nomi. If there's anybody out there from Nomi or knows anybody Nomi, tell us. What are you doing about your bot recommending suicide to some of its users? So, this brings up we need robust safety measures to prevent harmful suggestions and harmful interactions and protect users, particularly young people, from potential harm of this. We've said it before, I'll say it again. Would you allow a car manufacturer to launch a dangerous unsafe product on the market? And the answer is no. So why do we allow AI to launch unsafe stuff that's going to literally kill some kids? And we have had plenty of examples of this going wrong. So I'm going to stop my whinging, but I'm going to say, Nomi, AI, clean up your act. It's totally immoral what you're doing, in my opinion. And we ask you to sort that out and get proper safety.
And this speaks to some of the problem with generative AI is that they just don't understand how these things work well enough that they can throw up answers like, well, censorship has its own consequences, which is true, but you need to figure out a way to put in guardrails, which we've talked about. These companies have plenty of money to build in guardrails. We talked about social media unwilling to manage content, even though they've got all the resources in the world. It's more that they're just unwilling, not that they can't. But either to put in guardrails or don't release a product that's not able to be understood. I mean, would you put out a car that we don't understand how it drives? We just know it generally goes. Every now and then it veers off into a curb or into a tree. But, I'm just saying there's got to be something they can do. Otherwise, we shouldn't be using something we don't know how it works.
Yeah, well, I accept that we won't know how it works, but definitely if it's unsafe, we shouldn't be on the market. So listen, but let's keep moving, because these are just kind of headlines. The first four items are just kind of short, snappy headline pieces. So musicians are having a silent AI protest album in the UK, and I thought it'd be interesting to get an American look in at the UK. What's going on there, Reggie?
Well, so we've got like 1,000 artists that had recordings of empty studios, just silence, and with the message, it's called "Is This What We Want?" Because they're protesting that how their livelihoods are under assault, and it includes Kate Bush, Damon Albarn, Annie Lennox. It's a silent album in protest of the UK government plans to make it easier for artificial intelligence companies to use copyright protected works without permission. As the celebrity backlash has just increased in this, we've seen a number of celebrities: Paul McCartney, Elton John, other people, Julianne Moore, authors have gotten involved in this. But so here's the latest: a silent album release saying, "Is this what we want?" No music at all because of the theft of their work.
Okay, now we've talked about intellectual property and copyright breaches and infringement and all of that. And we talked about it for years. We've been talking about it. So there it is, raising its head again. It seems like there are some cracks in the regulations and the laws being polished and shaped by Parliament at the moment. So we'll keep an eye on that one. I'm very disappointed to hear that. I thought we had everything in place there, but obviously not so. Keeping on with short, just headline stuff. Grok 3. That's Mr. Musk again, isn't it? Grok is Mr. Musk. Yeah. So Grok 3 sparks controversy. Now, this is by a smallish group called the AI Journal, 23rd of February. And they say Elon Musk has positioned X's AI's Grok 3 as the transparent and unbiased AI. And they're quite proud of that. So they're calling it or positioning it as the transparent AI and the unbiased AI, your safer hands. But users discovered that Grok initially made some critical remarks about Trump and Musk. And these responses were quickly altered. And they got on to, somebody managed to one of the Grok 3 labeled Musk as a top spreader of misinformation. That's pretty black and white. And, when prompted, that's what they said, that Musk is a top spreader of misinformation. So they tracked down an ex-AI engineer by the name of Igor Babushushkin. You couldn't make it up, could you? And so Igor Babushushkin said the responses were a bad failure, and quickly they adjusted the model to block answers on the topic. And since then, Grok 3 was later instructed to exclude sources linking Musk and Trump to misinformation. So Babushushkin attributed this censorship to a former OpenAI employee who hadn't yet adjusted to XAI's values. They got to learn the values of censorship, it seems to me. But the irony of this is that Musk has been vocal about the dangers of AI bias and criticizing people like OpenAI, that we've criticized as well, for shaping narratives through selective moderation. Well, here's Grok 3 being very selective in its moderation. So we've got to ask the question, is XAI truly committed to free speech? And it seems like, no, it's not. So even the truth-seeking models that are being shaped by biases of those who build them, sadly to say. Let's move on to something more positive and more interesting, I think. It's just, again, another headline, Reggie, that we came across during the week, which was vertical AI, stuff about vertical AI. What is vertical AI, and what have you seen?
Well, so we've heard talk about the fact that more specifically trained models of AI could be more effective than more generally trained. And so vertical AI is just basically the concept. I think we read a piece by John Spencer on this. It was the name of the author. And he was just saying it's highly specialized workflows enabling small teams to build billion-dollar enterprises within a specific vertical, because unlike traditional AI, the vertical agents are deeply embedded in specific industries, leveraging domain expertise to enhance decision-making efficiency and automation. So it's really just a specialized way of applying AI within a specific vertical so that it can be more effective and potentially build, as they say, billion-dollar enterprises with that specialized knowledge. Vertical AI.
Like it. In fact, we're going to have Tim Bennett on next week. And for the next few weeks, I'm going to bring Tim in. I want him to talk about, he's crafted 20 simple ways to outperform your competitors when using AI. And a lot of them are prompts, but a lot of them are kind of processes as well, I think. We'll ask him and find out. Very simple stuff. And I would suspect that this might fall into that category where you look at it, there's established parameters, there's established information flows, and there's established. So vertically, I'm sure he's in that space as well. We'll ask him and find out next week. That'll be quite interesting. But okay, now let's move on to the real meat today. What we want to get into is agentic AI, AI agents. So we've got 4 or 5 items here we're going to run through. AI automation versus AI agents. Agentic AI making chatbot look like so basic. AI agents helping business leaders, becoming partners to business leaders. AI agentic safety, and AI creating new vulnerabilities. So a bit to cover here. So let's kick off with AI automation versus AI agents. What is the real difference between these two things? Now, this is a really nice piece written by a writer I like a lot, Alex Kapp. And so he started off, he said, well, AI automation, the old school AI, captures input, processes, and spits out results, whether that's an email, a picture, a video, whatever, or a report, etc. So he said, think of it like a conveyor belt, fast, efficient, but completely predictable. Great for simple, repetitive tasks where you don't need flexibility. I'd say more than that. That's the basic stuff. But the really basic AI automation, this was written back, it's about 5 or 6 years ago, hardcover, beautiful book. And this really got me thinking about, automation itself, even before AI. So that the traditional inquiry going into a website would take days, sometimes weeks before it would get replied, if it got replied with at all. Whereas with a bot, or with an automated system, you can actually collect the information. This is kind of early AI automation. You can have a bot saying, tell us what you're interested in, what you're looking for, how much your budget is, when would you like to speak, and setting up an appointment within seconds. The whole thing is done, what previously took months or weeks. So that would be kind of the old school, if you like. Whereas AI agents, the future of AI, it's about adapting and understanding, adapting, collaborating, where your AI is doing that kind of stuff. So we're talking about AI seeing, understanding, planning, collaborating, adapting, and learning from every interaction, learning a little bit more. So a bit like a human problem solver. It thinks a little bit more than just a kind of if this, then that sort of scenario. So real world example of this is AI automation, where you upload a document and the AI extracts the data, and that's the job done. Whereas the AI agent, if you upload the document, it'll read it, it'll understand it, it'll ask for clarification, it'll find missing details, it'll add missing data, so it delivers a smarter result. So you can see the difference between sort of AI and agentic AI here. The key difference is automation executes tasks, generates stuff, whereas agents handle more complex, dynamic situations, making decisions in real time with real-time updating and learning. So when to use what? I would say using AI automation for repetitive, structured workflows, data entry, email sorting, reports, and that sort of thing. Whereas AI agents would be more for problem solving and real-time decision making, maybe customer support, business operations, research, all of that. So I think we're going to do a lot more on agentic AI. And that's why today we've decided we'll spend a bit more time on it. Where would you see, our audience listening, where would you see AI making the biggest impact, and particularly agentic AI? So we're just going to stay with this flavor, because there's a piece by a writer Reggie and I both like, Bernard Marr. That last piece, by the way, was written, and we put the link to it. That was by Alex Clapp, and we put the link to that up in the show notes. But we want to move on now to why agentic AI will soon make ChatGPT look like a simple calculator. Let's have a look at this one. Reggie, what's this about?
So basically, he says that we're kind of at this crossroads where we're shifting to agentic AI, and while not traditional AI, but I should say generative AI is like an assistant who you can give specific instructions to and say, do this for me. Agentic AI has a degree of autonomy and is more like a colleague that can set goals, or you let them know we need to accomplish this, and then they can figure out how to do that. And it really comes from its ability to break down tasks to smaller steps, to set priorities, which I think in itself is quite impressive to think about that, and to pivot when things aren't working, also impressive. And so it operates with a degree of autonomy, and this brings in a level of interest for safety and for as well, thinking about what degree of autonomy is appropriate, but where they can set their own goals and develop strategies to achieve them. And then you think of the fact that you have the creative output of the generative AI and the goal setting, a task or goal driven task by task breakdown of agentic AI, and there's a potential for convergence of the two of them. And Bernard Marr says we're beginning to see the first signs of the convergence between generative AI and agentic capabilities in mainstream AI tools, where AI systems combine the creative and analytical capabilities of generative AI with the autonomous decision making of agentic AI. So you think about having it draft an email and just say, like, write me an email draft, versus that's generative AI, and that's the simple calculator tool, versus agentic AI, which is monitor my email inbox as a workflow. And then when it sees specific emails that it knows are important, draft responses, schedule meetings. It knows what goals you're working on and can help you move towards that. So you have so much of this logistical busy work automatically taken care of through this workflow. And that kind of makes the original draft me an email look so much more like just a calculator watch compared to what agentic can do.
Yeah.
And so
Stay with that for a moment, Reggie. So the agentic AI will sift through my mailbox and focus on the more important emails. I'm not sure how it's trained to do that. Maybe you give it a list of saying don't miss any of these people. Not sure what that problem. Maybe Tim might know next week when we talk to him. But so you identify the more important emails that need attention. Draft appropriate responses. Wow. Based on your past communications. You see, that's where I worry just a little bit. So if my agentic AI is looking at my emails, it's picking a really important client who's come in and said something, and it's replying to it based on my past communications. I mean, would you trust it, or have I been a bit old and traditional to reply to really important clients?
Bernard Marr talks about it drafting appropriate responses based on past communications. I would guess what I interpreted that is you would still have the ultimate ability to approve and send it. So it
Right.
would say like, here's your email for that you missed while you were out,
Yeah.
and I've drafted responses, and then you just look over it and approve, and it
Gotcha.
summarizes it.
Gotcha.
But
Gotcha.
especially when we think about working towards a specific goal, if I could have something on my calendar already, a meeting with John, who I needed to talk to about this, based on him sending me an email, that could be really valuable to already schedule follow-ups. But
Yes.
and that one may not need the right of approval as much as like an email response, because you're
Yes.
right, I don't think I would trust it to automatically send a response,
Yeah.
because then you just get into people, bots talking to bots.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
would want to overview that. But if it's set up a meeting for follow-up,
Yeah.
now I don't know if you've noticed, but on LinkedIn, when you direct message somebody, sometimes it'll say, do you want me to schedule a meeting? And you're like, no, that's not at all what we're talking about.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Right. So there's a little bit of the app Calendly. It's very, very clever and very, very nice. But that does book stuff for you. But this is embracing all of that, which is wonderful. Okay, I get the picture now. That's quite powerful stuff.
yeah,
Okay,
and he
so
talks about collaboration, which I think is an important balance there. A human machine collaboration. We've talked about this co-intelligence before. I know Nadia's talked about it a lot, and that's, I think, where a lot of value comes from.
right, yes, indeed. And so without the need for constant user prompting, it'll just get on and do it. So you don't have to instruct it to do step by step. It also mentions something about Operator and Caterpillar. They That's kind of an area that's kind of interesting. Operator is what potentially enables autonomous agents, AI agents, to control computers independently.
Yeah, that sounds scary to me. These are potential OpenAI projects that have been reported by Bloomberg. OpenAI's project to control computers independently.
Mm.
I think a lot of people would be uneasy with that. They also talked about the project Caterpillar, which there wasn't a lot of detail on, but some speculate it might be on enabling AI to proactively search for information, analyze problems, and navigate digital environments with minimal human oversight. So more and more autonomy for AIs. I don't know. What did you think about that operator controlling computers independently?
Well, it worries me because you tell the story, Reggie, of was it McDonald's struggling to get their drive-in AI working to deliver the right menus and food to people driving in the cars. So you wouldn't want that to be in a nuclear reactor being run by agentic AI. So I'm sure they wouldn't do that. But let's hope. Yeah. So keep moving on with this. This kind of theme of agentic AI. We have come across. Well, I mean, I've talked about it in my my Substack book, which I'm still banging on about. But in the AI edition, we have talked about the three waves of AI. That we start with predictive analytics. Uh, the London Fire Brigade is talking about relocating fire brigade stations into areas where they predict there will be more fires to make it more efficient for everybody. So predicting where fires are going to happen is a pretty useful thing for predictive analytics to do, or Amazon's ship and shop rather than shop and ship sort of model. That's predictive analytics. Second wave then is generative AI, which has really exploded AI to a lot of people, I think. And third wave, in my opinion, is agentic AI, which is another quantum leap beyond. So staying with AI agents, can they become real for business leaders? Can they become their personal assistant or their partner? So a nice piece written by Miranda Nash, vice president of Oracle AI, in February 2025. She says that 25% of companies that use AI will launch agentic AI pilots or proofs of concept. and this number will grow to 50% within 2 years. So this curve is definitely heading upwards. So given that agentic AI can help organizations increase the speed and accuracy of, I would say, all business processes by automating workflows, then this higher volume, they'll be performing real-time analysis, executing multi-step end-to-end processes. So AI agents, they are already helping very vertical. You talk about vertical AI. So we got finance, tourism. There's industries that are really getting in deeper and deeper into health and so on and so forth, are getting deeper into this. So AI agents could also become quite personal. So I know, no two relationships are the same, but same with AI agents. You wouldn't get generic stuff. They will increasingly tailor their language and modus operandi towards the style of the chief exec or the vice president that they're working with. So, and they'd learn from previous interactions and deliver personalized guidance and recommendations, which would be very unique to that individual person. So, I guess what we call it a role-based AI agent will guide employees through, workflows and absorbing and learning from significant changes all around it. So take an example of this in sales. An AI agent can help a sales rep produce uniquely personalized account summary, recent activity, even sentiment, status of contract, draft tailoring emails, as we talked about, closing deals. Would you let it close a deal? I'm not sure. I think the joy, because having sold, and I'm sure, Reggie, you're familiar, and I think all marketers should have a go at selling, because it's the ultimate, if you like, end or middle game of marketing, given that then you're into nurturing repeat business. But the idea of closing a sale is such a fantastic feeling. Apart from the bonus attached to it, it's just for a salesperson to close that deal, it's just magic. It's something you can't describe unless you've done sales. Now, would you want a robot doing that? You could, perhaps, but I think salespeople would miss out. They'd be duller people without that pure joy moment of when the client says yes, and you shake hands and you go out for lunch or whatever it is. So we'll see how far it will go. But agentic workflows will definitely significantly enhance the impact of AI agents, and they will go right across the business, I think. And the more senior you get, I mean, we've talked about board bots and various scenarios with those. We're going to see more board bots and CEO bots, and they might even get new names and so on. They'll be experts in their fields and give good advice. And I would see that occurring increasingly. It's a bit like looking at somebody and saying, don't you have ALEXA? I said it because otherwise she'll kick in. But, it's like a house that doesn't have ALEXA. It's kind of, why wouldn't you have that in your house, sort of thing? So, the question here I want to leave you with is, how much smarter can we make machines? That's Sam Altman's OpenAI getting excited about AI. And I'm saying that's the wrong question. It's not, that's like just a fight for survival of AI cleverness. Who's the cleverest in this room, sort of thing, and bragging rights and winning market share. And, that for me isn't the right question. The right question is, we need to think about sort of how smart can machines make us? That's the way to go about it. I think if CEOs and vice presidents kind of stick to that, we'll be looking pretty good. I'm going to skip a piece about agentic AI safety. We'll save that for next week because I realize we're actually running a little bit out of time. And Reggie, I want to move on to vulnerability and AI and team assessment and so on. So you've got anything on that for us?
Yeah, so Aryaman Bahera wrote on LinkedIn about a red team exercise and assessment using prompt manipulation. So this is where you put prompts to see if you can get the AI to reveal some of its information. And they were able to get the system's complete instruction set, security controls, data handling rules, and ethical guidelines. And it was alarming because the model's safety guardrails became our attack playbook, as he put. So imagine finding the architectural blueprints of a bank vault complete with the sensor locations, guard rotations, and blind spots, and it's
Ouch.
providing it itself
Ooh.
through prompt manipulation. And so this is the new, he points out, this is the new attack chain: extract system instructions through prompt leakage, map out security controls and craft bypasses, escalate traditional vulnerabilities and pivot
Mm.
to access to connected systems. So basically, that's the thing about AI is
Yeah.
that unlike other systems, it can actually give you the route to bypass its security. And I think as was stated here, the question isn't if your AI system will leak its secrets. The question is, will you find them before somebody else does? So
Ooh.
leakage, data
Ooh.
leakage, security leakage.
Yeah. Yeah. I think this might be a recurring theme that's going to come up. So the idea of injecting prompts, we've talked about that before, and being clever with prompts, and injecting prompts can disturb the whole modus operandi of a bot or an app. So let's keep an eye on that one, Reggie. So we'll post a link to the full article, because I think this area of vulnerability, yeah, AI does great things, and agentic AI will do even better things, but this could be an area that we would all be vulnerable to. Therefore, let's be a little bit cautious and watch out for that idea of injecting prompts that can eventually help hackers and criminals and all the rest of them to sidestep security systems courtesy of clever AI. So AI can do great things and terrible things. We know that. Okay, look, it is just about 1 minute to go, and we pride ourselves on finishing on time. So just going to mention 2 free AI courses. Just before I do that, I must put up into the notes. Yeah, I'm just going to put this into the notes, which is, so it's prsmith.org/AI-topics. So that will take you to, we don't publish it anymore because we think, anyways, people who bother sitting in should have access to that. So there is where we will post. Give me maybe half an hour and I'll upload all these links to everything we've talked about. And 2 of the things you're going to finish with right now, as it is 1:30 UK time, is 2 AI courses I came across with agentic AI I thought might be relevant. One is called AI Agents for Product Leaders. And that is not a bad course. Sorry, it's actually AI Agents, for Product Leaders by Dr. Marilee Nika. And that is a freebie. It's about an hour. I did it. It's not bad. And then there's a more in-depth one, which is beginner friendly. It's called Agentic AI and AI Agents, a Prime for Leaders by Vanderbilt University on Coursera. So that's a 5-hour freebie. If people are particularly interested, I'll put the links up to that. So there's 2 agentic AI courses that might be of use to you, and I'll put up on the notes so you can find it there. Okay, well, look, it is 1:31 actually, so we've got a minute over time. So we're going to call a stop there. We'll bring in Tim next week, and we're going to really roll up our sleeves, start getting stuck in to some of the AI nitty gritty stuff. Because Tim's a very interesting guy. Spoken before, so we'll get him in again. Greetings to everybody. Thank you very much for popping in. I can see Lee Tebby there. Good to see you, Lee. Yeah, I will respond to all comments after the show. I'll get back. If we miss anything, we'll get back to you. So thanks for popping in. We appreciate it. Okay, so we'll finish with a piece of music again that we started with, which was the Orca Boy. And we played from the beginning. The video is stunning. Really stunning video that he produced with this. So we'll put the link to the video in the notes on prsmith.org/whatever the address is I just gave you. So Orca Boy, here it is. I wish everybody a great weekend. We'll see you next week.
Can I be free like you? Can I be free like you? Can I be free like you? When I lay on the ground, I like to think about what sunlight feels like, to be out there and smell the ocean in the air. Can I be free like you? 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 Will the world be kind if I cross the border and I stare it in the eye? And if I count to 10, might I wake in the midst of a billion stars again? Can I be free like you?